Hey everyone, got a special guest for you. We're bringing back Anna Kelly for a twofer today. First one was about CDC, the left field surprise. Is it a political move? All of that. That was its own category. But this is the one I've been thinking about for a while because if you've been following Anna's playlist, she has been very busy. She goes out and buys a beach house, lots of challenges there. Then she finds her dream home for her family. She has to sell her home, do all of these things. And she's buying a thing in Atlanta and I just wanted to talk about running a busy life. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thanks
Uh,
so much.
You you are busier now, at least it seems to me as an outsider who watches you weekly, than you were when you were working. And you were pretty busy when you were working.
Oh, I don't think I'm anywhere near as busy as I was when I was working.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So that's a good thing,
Yes.
and I think it's one of those things where, like we've talked about before, I've been so used to working, 70, 80-hour weeks for
Yeah.
so long
Yeah.
that when I have, downtime, it's like, what do I do with myself? I've got so much time. And then it goes in phases. But what I have done is really learn to balance my life in a much more methodical and strategic way,
Hmm.
for the most part. And what happens is, though, Michael, things come up that you're
Yeah.
like, okay, is this something that I'm willing to say yes to, despite the fact that I know it's going to make things crazy for a few weeks or a
Yeah.
month or two,
Hmm.
for the long term, win that this thing is going to create. And there are seasons where you have a deal and then it's slow for a couple months, and a
Right.
deal and it's slow for a couple months. And we just happen to have, it's like the beach house, the dream house, the Houston deal, the Atlanta deal, the coaching. And it's like, whoa, this is a lot. But I time block very methodically. And so, there are certain things, in full disclosure, that I'm not doing that I have on my time block that I should be doing.
Right.
But I realize that I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself that if I don't get to the gym every day this week, I'm okay. If I can, do something for my health 2 or 3 days a week, some day it's the gym, some days it's just I made a healthier meal.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself grace. This is a season where I've got to get the things done that I have to.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back to more balance, in a couple of months. So that's kind of
Yeah.
how things are for me.
Yeah. And I think people need to hear that, right? This pandemic, this health crisis it's really disrupted everyone's life, right?
Yes.
Some way, and some more than others. And we've both worked for financial freedom, and our lives have been disrupted by this, right?
Sure.
Raising kids and at home and all of that. But I love the fact that you're time blocking. I think people need to realize that that's important, right? Your
Huge.
non-negotiables. Yeah. Yeah. So, and you haven't said this three-letter word yet, but it's something I think of, and I think of you, and that is joy. Right.
Thank you.
This is something that we've talked about, back in January, when we talked about our goals for the year, was finding joy. And
Yeah.
clearly I've seen that ooze from you over the last 2 to 3 months, even when you're in the depths of craziness, right? You get a bank who said yes to a second, then says no the day of closing or thereabouts. You just figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So I think
And I
that's,
think that's very intentional. It has
yes.
to be, because, so many times we get ourselves so stressed out that it's hard to enjoy what you're doing. And so I have gotten really good, Michael, at, knowing what's really, really important to me.
Mhm.
And because it was so hard to get there to the point of financial freedom, and really my main priority is my time with my family,
Right.
and getting my health back to where it needs to be, physically, getting in shape and all that kind of stuff. And spending time with God every day. And those are things that I make sure that I'm doing and I'm growing in. And so I basically have a personal growth statement and some non-negotiable, like, core values that now what I do, Michael, is everything I say yes to, I kind of do a personal underwriting. So just like you financially underwrite a deal, I go through a personal underwriting where I look at my growth statement. I look at my guiding principles and I say, is this thing that's going to come up going to help me to grow in the areas that I want to, have more time and more freedom with my family, and bring me joy in the process? Or is it going to stress me out, take way too much time for too long?
Yeah.
And do I need to say no to it? So even though I've said yes to a couple of things, they've been very solid. You know, they've been like the deal that meets all the criteria that I've been looking for, and is recession resilient and allows me the amount of time into that deal that allows me to maintain that balance. So I'm saying yes to things very strategically. They've just all kind of come together, you know, at the same time. But it lets me have more joy because I know that the things I've said yes to are helping me grow in the areas that are most important to me, and not just another thing I'm doing so that I can make more money.
Yeah. Do you care? I don't know that you've shared your personal growth statement. If you don't want to, it's totally okay. But if you do, what is it?
So I have it, but I am packing my house today to sell. So I don't have it right in front of me, but if you give me a second, I'll pull it up and I'll tell.
Yeah, I would love to hear it. This is something, I'll just buy us some time. This is something I don't have. And when you said it, I'm like, oh, I might want to have one of these as well. So she's
exactly what it is.
Cool.
Get up here.
All right. And when did you create this? Recently or way back in January?
Way back in January, I started, you know, really thinking about what do I really want?
I remember that.
And what is, you know, most important to me, and how am I going to, you know, grow in a way that is methodical, and that will, you know, allow me to have joy and to really temper my drive, Michael, because you know, that's, you know, as entrepreneurs, we have this drive, we want to do great things, and we think, you know, if I can just do this, then, you know, I'll make all this money and I'll do these different things. And so it's like, you know, you want to keep moving, you want to keep achieving, and it's hard to say no to a lot of really good things so that we can say yes to the very best things. And I realized that I said yes to too many things. And so, you know, I had to learn from that. So I have my statement. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I will grow my multifamily business as quickly and wisely as possible by working hard and strategically 30 hours per week. This time limit will allow me to focus on my physical and spiritual health, and to spend each evening developing strong relationships and memories with my children. If my work regularly causes me to sacrifice my spiritual, physical, or relational health, I will reevaluate, redesign, delegate, or remove those pursuits which no longer serve my vision for a life well lived.
Wow. I'm gonna have to listen to that again and again, because that's you put time blocks on it. It's very specific. You've given yourself a reason to go out of that for the short term.
Yes.
You've put on a criteria to kind of whack things if it gets a little out of hand.
Yes.
And it's about the three things that are important, right? Spiritual, physical, and family. That's what we've been working for 30 years. So
100%. And I look at this every time I have now a big decision to make or a big deal that comes. I think, is this thing going to be something that takes a lot of time for a few weeks or a few months?
Right.
Or this thing that's going to, something that's going to add 10 hours a week to me every single week, as long as I own it, for example. Yeah. And if that's, if it's going to add 10 hours a week, then I've got to ask myself, what do I now have to give up to make those 10 hours a week, so that I really am done working, most of the time by the time those kiddos walk through the door at 3:30. Yeah. And there's always exceptions. There's always time periods like you were talking about for me right now for a couple months where it's like, whew, there's a lot, but I've still managed to time block. And what I do with my time blocking, the things that are really non-negotiable, I look at them in a week. And so I've learned to give myself grace if in the day I can't get something done. Right. But I never delete it from my calendar. I move it. And so if I can't do this today, then I'm going to move it and make sure I get it done sometime this week. And so I find those blocks where, I've got time. I've got a 30-minute chunk here. I didn't work out here today. I'm going to make sure that I do it, twice on Thursday. I do some push-ups or sit-ups, or I do some cardio and take a walk. So I try not to ever delete anything. I really move it around. The other thing that I do with my time blocking that's really started to help me, and I did senior project management for years, so I was very scheduled during the day.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got home, I'm like, I don't want to be on a schedule.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
it was just hard for me to get it together personally. I always was doing stuff, but I
Right.
wasn't like, I just stopped. I'd take something off the calendar and just not get it done.
Just like, check, gone.
Now, I time block, but I make sure like my Tuesdays and Thursdays, it is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's like, it's
Wow.
crazy.
Okay.
Now that's about to stop because I have my last week of my 12-week coaching program this Thursday. Thursday nights I'll have back. But I make it to where my Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have about half the day free on my calendar so that I have some flexibility 3 times a week to fit other things in that I might want to say yes to, to move things around if I have to, because I had urgent things come up. And it gives me a little downtime for me time, lunches with a friend, running household errands. And so now I don't fill those spots as much as I can, which gives me at least 3 days a week and the weekends where I'm not frantically busy. So I'm getting it all done in less time because I'm being really strategic with my time.
That's awesome. So that personal growth statement really is the filter, right? Joy is the thing. The personal growth statement is the filter, and you're controlling your schedule where you have these big blocks where you can move things in and out. I see what you're doing.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
This has been great.
Yeah.
And it's been trial and error.
Sure.
I've had to figure it out. And I had days where I'm like, I'm still like mentally drained, at the end of the day, or I've still got too much going on. And then I realized I really have open chunks where I'm still, not being super strategic with my time, or I'm taking too long to get one thing done. Yeah. Now it's like, I got an hour, I'll get done what I can to grow in this area in an hour. Yeah. And then I switch gears so that I make sure I'm spending time on growing in everything, and keeping, what I need to do to maintain everything else, in a good way, like my asset management. Like I have it time blocked multiple times per week. And it's like, that's all I do in that zone. Mm-hmm. And then I have breaks built in there too. Like take a break, take some deep breaths, walk, get up, drink a cup of coffee, get some water. Right. And then I come back and I just really stick to my calendar, and it's just helped me to be more productive. And to have more breaks for myself where I feel like I have balance, even though I'm busy.
Very cool. So how often do you look at that personal growth statement? Is it a daily thing? Is it only when you have big decisions? Is it what does that look like for you?
I don't look at it every single day. I mean, I know it generally. Right. I just wanted to make sure when I pulled it up, like I have it specifically for you. I basically pull that up every time I'm going to make a big decision. So okay. If someone brings me a deal and they're like, will you partner with me on it? Or do you want to, do you want to travel and come speak at this event? Right. Whatever it might be. If it's a big decision that's going to take time, I go back and look at that and I say, okay, is this really what's best for me and my family today? Mm-hmm. Is it good for me to be, away for X number of, days traveling, for example? So that might be, a question. Or will it take a lot of time? So every big decision, I basically now do a personal underwriting, right, where I personally underwrite that and say, does this meet my personal criteria for growth and for what's important to me or not? And it lets me easily say yes or no without should I, shouldn't I? It's like, here's my criteria. This is what I set. It has to fit within this to be a yes.
That is awesome. And that's, again, something I'm glad we did this as a separate show, because it's definitely something everybody could do. It's something I'm going to rewatch and create. I'll actually ask you to could you send me your personal growth statement, please?
Absolutely.
I would like
Absolutely. That. Yeah. The other thing that I have, which I kind of touched on, and I'll send you an example too, is I have a, kind of core values statement as well that allows me to say, these are the things that are important to me and who I want to become. Yep. And in order to do that, I've also got to filter these decisions through that. So for me, there's a section of scripture in the Bible. It's called Proverbs 31. Okay. And it talks about the Proverbs 31 woman. And, she's like the ideal perfect woman, that it's unattainable, but what we should strive for. And it's someone who has integrity, and she's respected, and she has wisdom, so she doesn't fear the future because she makes wise decisions. Her children are, well taken care of and fed. She considers a vineyard and buys it. She sells beautiful cloths in the market. It's like she is a consummate entrepreneur who balances being a good wife, a good mother, a wise businesswoman, and a very successful businesswoman. And it reminds me sometimes, okay, if I have something that comes up, is this too much? Is it too little? Is it going to keep me from being a good wife? Is it going to keep me from being a good mom? Because it's going to pull me in all these other directions. Is it a wise deal, or is it too risky such that I would fear the future because it's not something that is, protecting my family. So those are just another set of principles that I go through to say, is this deal, is this opportunity, is this business venture, this relationship going to help me become who I want to become? Or is it going to detract from that in some way? So again, those two statements together, my core values and the principles that I pulled out of the Proverbs 31, section of scripture, is what I really look at to filter every decision that's a big decision that I need a yes or a no to.
That is awesome.
And I'll send you that as well.
Yes, please. Yes, please. This is fun. And again, I think lots of people will look at this and help them, create that personal statement. The joy is what I've seen ooze out of you this year. It's been awesome to watch. And you just evaluate life. That is so wonderful. Thank you for taking the time with us today. I'm so glad this was a separate show.
You're so very welcome. It's my pleasure.
All right.